Welcome back. We're back. You're back. It's great to be back because we got more games on the schedule right now. It is game 2 here as we head into the map. It is going to be Fracture, and I'm excited for this one. Both maps, both teams have kind of stayed away from this map for the stage, so it'll be interesting to see them on it.
Last time they played against each other was actually during Kickoff. I think it was the upper semifinals where it was a victory for G2.
Right.
It was a 13-9, but this was, you know, an era that Wyatt mentioned before. It's with the tank playing on a raise, which is why it's going to be interesting actually going into this matchup because, you know, the last time they played the comp, Tom was also on a Sova, right? Playing the old, good old EG comp in the past.
Yeah.
But now with a change going into, okay, wait, hold on. Before I talk about Leviatán, let's look at G2 because now they have a Waylay on this map as well. So a change coming out for G2 on Fracture 2. And instead of playing a Vice on Leaf, he's going back onto a Cypher. So maybe they're finding a lot more value on just trying to leverage the Waylay into the entries and have Leaf watch these lurks and these flanks with the trips. But now, as I just mentioned before here, EG comp in the past here for Leviatán, but this time they're also making changes. King is going into a Neon, and hell, I don't even know when was the last time King played a Neon. Maybe like a Neon meta back, back into last year, but...
It's a great question. It's there on his list, but we just couldn't find the game in time. So you're like, okay. Yeah, this should be an interesting one. And like you said, Jog's Waylay, that's going to be crazy for getting up into the Heaven area, trying to get tower down, and really how they can start affecting the sites.
And the thing that's good for G2 is in the past when they had good executes on Fracture, you would sometimes have Jogimo going on these satchels, plant for the spike, and then go for the pulse plant util around like the volleys and the et cetera, on the initiators. That could still be the case with Jogimo there on this Waylay as the action starts on the top of Arcade. Back and forth we go, and Jogimo finds safety between the salvos up towards his B site.
It's going to be a rush into site. Frenzy tries to be the power, but Classics are going to reign king here as G2 is able to shut down a lot, and they go Classics almost across the board. I think Leaf's the only one who did buy, going short on util with that Ghost. And what teamwork here for a shutdown at B. Just one last player in Rossi, and this shouldn't be too tough to be able to collect pistol round.
Yeah. Even had like the opportunity to go for spam kills, which is why he's going for this Ghost and the trip.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, you saw Leviatán trying to sell this fake towards the top of the Arcade side, pushing a lot of players through towards the front B. But G2 did not have that many bodies to fight back towards Arcade. It was literally only Jogimo holding that spot. Well, the double initiator between Trent and Jonah P were just really nice on the crossfire setup.
I respect this double orb. I was like, what else do you have to do? Go shopping.
Yep.
Run from side to side, get another one for dying here.
Take the ropes, the ropes, go to Arcade.
Oh, yeah, do it.
Little OD to T1-2 with the Classic. It looks like with 20 seconds left, he just wants to make sure that at least he gives his life away. He doesn't want to survive with only 1,000 credits. So stopping back towards the A site should be the closing deal for G2. Trying to take down one with them, but it's Jonah P. Clean kill towards the end, and G2 score a very nice pistol.
All right, what's their second idea? I wonder if they play basically offense from defense when Jogimo on the Waylay. At least from one extremity all the time, right? We see him taking towards Satellite now. What's he going to do? How much trouble is he going to be causing? Oh, full check in the safe plant. Good teamwork, just looking the wrong way.
Demon 1's whiffing. That's not my champs MVP.
Vibes are good on both camps, but you're seeing here we're starting things off with a Marshall, in the hands of Jogimo covering that dish. But Leviatán looking to explode towards this B site. A setup of a 4-1 for G2 with Leaf playing it solo on the top here.
Jogimo's already on the run with the Marshall over towards the top side of the map. Site's getting hit right now, and that's going to be G2 in just about the same spots, dropping just about the same members of Leviatán. And they won't even give Jog time to rotate a shutdown in B as it was a rush from Lev.
Yeah, decent power, decent damage, being done here for Leviatán, but still no plants coming through.
What buys can they get? A Bucky, a Marshall.
Yeah, just staying around the bonus here, and maybe the Bucky for Leafs, and maybe he's going to be the one pulling out the operator later on defense, and Jogimo could actually add a little bit more pressure around the double innie.
Jog has so much money being able to just carry this Marshall over too. They're setting themselves up so good for the rounds to come, economy-wise and strat-wise.
Just trying to move up for the contact too. We're talking to the side and big damage to come across.
Oh. Didn't get too far.
Should be an open. Oh, never mind. I was going to say should have been an open site for Leviatán to take, because you see how passive the trips are for Leaf up towards the arcade. We just overextend before the smokes went down, and that's a great opportunity for Jogamo to just land one between the eyes of King. All of them buying full shields on the side of Leviatán, anticipating potentially an upgrade onto an Outlaw. So it was smart for them to do that, but unfortunately, still couldn't get the nice opening into the B-site plant.
And that first salvo from Com is gone, so they can either wait for signature or just use Rossi's to get into the site, because they don't have a neon now to break crosshairs, so it's going to be kind of tough to waltz in there dry. And it looks like they'll try towards A. They will choose the lower number site, the softer one, so credit to them there for the opportunity, but it's going to be a lot to get through still. Who's this focus?
30
Rossi got a
seconds
bunch
left.
earlier.
I don't think they need to tap this orb.
Yeah, they don't. You're right.
There's no time left. You don't want to let the players know that you're moving in towards the A site for the contact. So smoke's going to go down. They actually use their util to potentially break Cypher trips if they were close towards that side. So clean entry towards the end for Leviatán, but here already comes G2. In the extremities, double up towards the sand, couple towards the spawn. A big lurk coming out here from VALORANT.
Interesting. It's going to be tough to get a post-plant molly on that one, so they have to play for the kills right now. Com trying to factor one kill from behind, but they come through the door. Oh, refract to the same spot, and still a kill coming in. Demon 1 with 3 on the round, but it's about Tex now. Just around the spike, and he's going to have to play this 1v2 perfectly. Very healthy members on the side of G2. The 1v1 to create. Oh, not created. The indecision after seeing both members, and Valen picks up his own hat trick on this one to get the round.
Yeah, quite interesting on the side of Leviatán, though, when they're trying to play on the outside, and I don't even know it's potentially to play post-plant utility, because the plat was in a very weird spot, at least on the side of Lev. So then after that, when Tex is on a 1 versus 2, he's still got 2 Razor Vines under him. They're not using it to try to stall even more towards sand, so a little bit of miscomms potentially here towards that post-plant, and G2 is able to, yeah, it looked pretty questionable with the way that we refracted there for Dogma, but it was just allowing Valen to come through and guarantee that trade towards the end, so
anything to buy time.
Exactly. Something that G2's really good with in terms of being able to trade after each other.
6-1 Valen on top right now. Brian to start off our second map. King rather just gets the eye of somebody on the other side. So they don't fully take sand. This death ball needs to move together, because right now they're bunched up. Could get awkward. Rolling Thunder's up.
This might be the cue here. So if the drone could spot somebody, they're probably going to Rolling Thunder around that to try to get an entry, but side's clear. They'll save it for a potential delay on the post plant. King's already low HP as they're trying to go for a plant.
Spammed out. Perfect spam by Trent there, just to the right, knowing where they could escape from. Waylay already behind here, and Jog's just reading that sheer vice wall before he moves. So much patience right now as G2 get into position. 2 just on the extremities. Jaw trying to push past. He gets 1, but is cleaned up. Or not cleaned up, rather. Still the fight there will finally be found by Rossi. 12 HP. G2 is doing such a good job at leaving Leviatán nothing here at the end of these rounds. Almost. Had the right play, get out of that situation and try to turn around for the kill, but too much teamwork, too much crossfire, too much G2 as they grab 4 rounds now. Starting off Fracture, a much different story than our first map.
Almost felt, though, that Rossi was going to have a highlight reel there with that 1 versus 3. But some great discipline towards the end on that 2 versus 1. Just not trying to go for the full swing, trying to see if Rossi is going to take the first peek. And then once they go for the 3-2-1, they are able to do the perfect swing to actually take him down. So towards the end, though, G2 will not get thriftied or anything, and Leviatán is able to save the Rolling Thunder into this round because of an open A side that allowed for them to get a free plant. This time, Jogmo trying to move down with a refract available. Very similar ways to how you could play with, for example, the cryo chamber, for example, but looks like he didn't pay attention to that corner. Tex is able to take him down early.
Down and out. Valen answering, though. Nice arcade teamwork. They're still going to have to get to these trips. Leaf's ready to just start pinning people down once they do. That's going to be a tough box. Oh, he actually does almost all the damage he needs to, but he stops, figuring he was missing his target. And do they push out and try to retake again? A lot of tower control here from Leviatán, but this is going to be G2 kind of walking in the bottom side.
Huge survivability with Rossi being able to make it out alive as that Rolling Thunder is still available. This might guarantee the round now for Leviatán to score up on Fracture.
They need the one. They have to stop the bleeding right now that G2's created with these 4 rounds. King with a nice kill to stop that re-entry, and they're definitely going to have the numbers to do it. Leaf gets taken down by Tex, the 3K for him, and we start it off now as Leviatán start to inch their way back in here on Fracture.
A very nice punish coming out from Tex in the very beginning by just hugging that wall on the side of the tree. So you think you had the line the whole time, but because you're holding a rifle, because you're holding a... What was it, the Outlaw that was probably still available there for Jogimo? It sticks out, easy for Tex, just get the wallbang kill, and that allows here for Leviatán to just tempo up very quickly towards the B-side plant.
Ian, heat up, my boy. Let's go.
So now he's happy. Now he's saying, you actually lived once. Now there's like levels to it. He's just building Tex up, and he's going to be Super Saiyan by the end of the game. Rossi just kind of bringing in the vibes with a little bit of the cook.
Locating chaotic right here.
Oh dear. Yeah, he saw one, so you know there's going to be more on the other side. Ultimate comes through. A little bit of slow motion gameplay, but that's not going to slow Lev down at all as they drop Jogimo on the push out. Still playing it super aggressive. You love to see it.
It's huge by Demon 1 though. So they combine the orbital strike with the salvos just to isolate and split out the push attempted by G2. And even though the convergence path from Jogimo actually did get the contact onto Rossi, it didn't hit the other two, and it was an easy kill towards the end. So another player advantage coming out for Leviatán with Jogimo falling first on the side of G2.
And they take all that convergence path space too. So this should be a really well-known strat hit. Not much that 2 players can do versus the full team of Lev, but we will see on the entry. Oh, yeah, Steel Garden says, thank you very much for the weaponry. Your arsenal's gone. And Lev should be able to get into this one fairly easy.
Yeah. Unless there's going to be some trips activated and try to get some picks across, but nice push by G2 here through the smoke.
Insta Armageddon. Oh, does he find it?
Yeah.
Tuck his toes in. Going to be good in the corner there. Rossi stays alive, and I don't know if they're going to think about that spot right away. Yeah, Trent's got his eyes on it. From the right side, King is in the trade with Trent. And now G2 are trying to get the last bit of footing they need to get themselves onto the spike. 2 players in sight with Calm on the rotation now. A little bit of indecision here from Rossi. Should he go down? Should he stay up? As he hits the Rolling Thunder, he gets time to think about it all.
Yeah, you see Calm staying all the way back here. He should have the salvos, and indeed he will.
Now they know.
But Rossi just fell.
The salvos let him know where he's coming from. 1 low Trent, 1 health Valen. It could be the other way. The low players on the defuse. And Valen goes down. That's going to be it on the round. Nicely done by Calm to steal this one away from the grasp of G2 as they were on the defuse.
The confidence from Calm as well not to go for the full swing after dropping the first player.
So big.
That is, once again, a champion's mindset. Just reading that his opponent was only going to stick it at half, and he would try to go for at least a trade on the side of G2, and not going for the full swing. Keeping his crosshair placement there, and it just drags it out. Even hides in the corner. Guarantees around off time.
A nice Red Bull clutch, and a very much needed clutch here for the side of Leviatán. They'll start to pull out some weaponry as well. Outlaw for Tex here, they still want to get somewhat of a low buy. And no, there's going to be low armor on the side of G2, so they can start to stack a bit of economy. Thinking about everything as they start these rounds off down by 2.
Yeah, they're just trying to go for a fault line here.
How good does it work? How good does it work? Oh, Jog can't connect the next one as Rossi answered back quick as well.
Now we're cooking.
Valen, they have answers for everything here. Everybody's raising their hand to get into the mix. Jonah's now going to trade everything on the north side of the map as they keep fighting. Oh my God.
That's a Stinger ADS with that kill.
A weird round coming through. And Tex is like, well, I guess we got to go to where the party is. So he goes towards the top side of the map as well.
Thankfully, it's an Outlaw.
Yeah.
So 1 tap on these players.
1. And he didn't take too much damage either. He won't have the regen, but he will have a bit of movement up. They destroy his line through the gate with the smoke. Yeah, this is only kind of dictating what he's going to do. Tough to peek out of that smoke as they've already encroached up far enough. And a thrifty for G2. One of their specialties here.
I mean, that's a crazy round by G2. You see, at least from the beginning, before the barriers come up, that it looks like it was going to be a north side crunch. but instead they just wait it out and try to force their opponents into different extremities. So you start swinging in pendulum, in tandem. You see first starts getting activated here towards the side of Dish. When Leviatán tries to help out those players on the right side, they push towards the arcade and goes vice versa. And they had continuous backstabs onto Leviatán. And you definitely see the frustration coming out from Calm. The rest of the team for Leviatán being played into the round. And as we talk about the round, there's already salvos coming out here, at least at the beginning, to try to stop an aggression out of Leviatán from the south side towards Tree. But that's already util used on the side of G2. And Leviatán will stop and go in a different spot, still staying back towards that spawn. But you also notice an operator out this time around for Jogimo, holding out towards the arcade.
Yeah, it's got the back watch there by Trent. They should be okay for the situation. And a little bit of a fake towards A.
Oh, they're waiting for it though for Lev.
Jeez.
Down B.
Trent is so ready underneath already. They encroach into arcade and take the space. Okay, Demon 1, Sheriff on Brim. Very reminiscent of his Fracture gameplay. Now they know there's an op on the board. Yeah, they leave.
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
It's tough though, because you still need to get out of there. Yes, you upgraded it into a Vandal, but you're now moving into full setup of Leaf.
Oh, man.
Trip towards the front, a cage, a camera to look towards main as well, and that's the first contact. And it's a one-way cage too.
30
I mentioned this
seconds left.
before. G2 always happy to leave Leaf to his own devices here. Let him play aggressive, let him play for the 1 and possibly the 2. We're going to start the action now as he's just waiting. Surrounded by players. That's going to be the first one. The second one for Leaf. Looking for a third. Knows he's not. Is underneath due to the audio. And it's just a quick 1, 2, 3. He makes it look so easy.
And the communication around G2. Just to make sure that Jonah P's Rolling Thunder gets enough distance to actually smother towards the front of the site and not affect Leaf. So you get the easiest 3K ever. Even one of them got launched into the first strip.
Yep.
Very, very nice teamwork towards the end. On the side of G2.
They're so mad about that, bro.
Look at that. Josh is like, yep, another day at the office. This is what we practiced. Everything's going according to plan. 6-2 night and day here from what we had on our first map. And it looks like we're getting that Lev timeout to see if they can bring it back to even.
Yeah, so far it's been pretty decent here for the side of Leviatán, staying as a group, but they are wasting a little bit too much of that time before they try to go for some sort of an exec. I'd like to see if they would try to insert some players a little bit more, try to manipulate. You have 4 quadrants to work with here. You might have to add a little bit more responsibility onto Tex here to lurk around towards the ace, towards anywhere actually to cut the rotates, so they can activate on the rest here for Leviatán. But so far, I haven't seen anything too special coming out from G2 yet with this Waylay. Just some standard stuff coming out on the side of good trades, good shooting coming out from G2 side. No real trap plays coming out as well, and Leviatán should be ready for those type of things then. It's going to be fairly basic at the very beginning on the side of the defense.
Operator again for Jog. Decides to keep, or we'll hold on to. Now they push forward. Oh, eats that, but still has protection. Actually hasn't thrown down the ability, so it could get very dangerous down here. He tries to dash out, gets locked up again. A lot of damage to King, though, traded in this situation.
Thing is, though, the neon wall went up. Refracts away, and that gives a little bit of space for Leviatán to be able to take.
Yeah. You see G2 was forcing themselves into that fight for a bit, kind of bumping into each other, walking out there as they refracted. Not a problem, but you see what kind of chaos they try to create and play within here just before they get out. And see if that damage sticks for King and becomes a big problem for him towards the end of the round. Still just Leaf on his own. You expect him to do big things still.
Looks like it could be a finish towards the A site. Leaf is in an aggressive angle right in front of his util. So if his stick's gun out, she went for the peek, and that's a huge punish for Leviatán.
They try to get the site. Whoa, Trent. A very risky play there, but if it paid off, be up another player. Still 4v4 though as the Armageddon goes down, looking to displace and do a little bit of damage, but again, nobody can play off of that. So maybe a little early as we still have the rotation coming around.
That will be tough for G2 to retake. They have to activate fairly quick.
Oh, I feel like that op slowing down Jog just a little bit from the action we usually see, but it's not a bad purchase for them still. Vines go down to slow down things behind. They're just waiting for VALORANT. All of this stall going down, Vance.
Yeah, salvos are up now. Tap it right away.
Good lord.
Jump spot, you know nobody's on that.
Last player
I mean, how do you play this round?
Pulling your hair out if you're trying to get a spike defuse down right now. Jonah P could be going down to this. They want to get the operator and get out still. You're going to try to give that to Jog, and they will successfully save it for the next round as Lev pick up another one, and the timeout clicks.
Good classic VALORANT round on the pulse plant with this meta now. Very difficult to try to retake, and you just needed G2 to get these picks earlier on when they were trying to go for the pincer maneuver on the retake. That said, though, I got to respect King sliding out there. We mentioned he was low HP. So he slides through even though he gets picked off as he slides down by Trent. At least a util's around. He gets the information when their players are out for G2 side. They're still not set up inside the site.
I'm a little concerned how we didn't remember what the timeout happened, but it's okay. We won the round.
That they're able to get into the site and get a nice little plant there, and that forces the timeout this time around from the side of Josh RT's camp.
Yeah, you saw he wasn't too happy with the loss on that round. I think maybe one too many chances are being rolled into the mix here for G2 and the way they're kind of losing a bit of HP on one peak, you know, going in front of each other without waiting for util, and they bring back those fundamentals and they look unstoppable. So that may just be a reset here for G2 as they come into this next one.
Yeah, I mean, you also played a very weak 4-1 in the very beginning. You saw the chaos that started on that B side towards Arcade. Exactly. A lot of util are being used on both sides where I got to say it was actually won by G2 towards the end because they still had full HP. King was down at 13. They have refreshables on their side as you see that Leviatan's kind of like just slowing the tempo after that first engagement. But because of Lee's forward position by that dish and getting punished right away, it doesn't really give a chance here for G2 to rotate over the fight.
So see if that changes. We really need to see if G2 does change up where that play goes.
Leviatán is looking to go for an all-out brawl in the front of the A hulls. Potentially with this util and also how fast the Neon could be. King could maybe look for the control inside of Sands. And so far, it's a good read. We're playing weak side for G2 towards A.
Yeah, they choose the non-initiator site for G2. It's going to feel great to get in here at first. And they're going to know it, right? They would expect the fault line by now, so they know a bit of the positioning on the map right off the bat. Zooming. Oh, okay, Leave. Already playing off the trips. This is what we wanted to see last time. It's Jogamo with the op on that line. Over towards Satellite, and Leave playing safe now. Rolling Thunder goes out, give everybody a little bit of space. Rossi is able to split that one and get between the shot of Jogamo. Hello! Demon 1 and Com, masterclass in the crossfire as all of G2 try to get out the smokes and retake site.
Well, that's just unfortunate. But now let's see if Trent can try to get this 1v3. Already gave his position away here in the front of the A site. No go.
Oh!
I gotta say, almost G2 just fell to their own trick. When those trips were placed by Leaf in the first place, he got a beautiful one onto King, where he runs into that trip, he gets a kill through the smoke. But then after that, because that trip was actually a little bit more inside that site, remember, it was just around here more towards, than on that barrier where it is.
Okay.
Then the players just played behind on the attack side. You saw Com just playing behind that trip.
Oh yeah, the trip's right there.
Ends up being a beautiful, easy crossfire setup towards the end.
Yeah.
Vex, I give you this. I never do this.
Sounds like it was a chef's kiss.
Blowing kisses to Max. That's good. Demon 1, that is. As Rossi is very pleased with in that situation. And now, the rest of G2. Going to be B and A split. As it's all the members of LEV here. They've been doing these 5-ball strats now the past few rounds. And all that util, all that power together is paying off.
Yeah, it's working out for sure. And they're using it with the combination of cycling ults with it. So now Demon 1 has his orbital strike. You see him staying all the way back towards the front of the B site, while the rest of them are going for the execute. So they are making sure here that they're playing the pulse plant to their advantage for Leviatán with this new comp they came out with.
King early recognizes where the retaliation is going to come from on this round. 3 of them Arcade. He's actually putting himself between them and the fight. Oh, the timing for Demon 1 to smoke. He gets one-wayed by VALORANT. 1, 2 for the King. Almost the third one, but Jogamo was able to hit the quick shot as he comes out of the smoke, but Tex is there to help as Leaf finds the shot on his 6. what's going to happen with the 2v2 in sight.
Oh,
There is a good amount of util. Yep, aftershock salvos. Try to touch that spike, and you are going to get fried. Jogamo wants to tell a different story, though. Leaf tries to get in just on the edge of it, and it's a Red Bull clutch coming in for the Cytocom.
And that's the difficult thing again, the composition that you're throwing out here. This is something that, you know, Leviatán will have to deal with as well once they take the defensive side after this round. But you have to activate a little bit more quickly. Such good delays coming out on the side of Leviatán. Those smokes that came out towards the arcade, playing towards the back of the boxes at arcade, just making sure that they're wasting as much time as possible, rather. And that's twice now that G2 falls into these pulse plant scenarios where they don't act quick enough. And look, last round of the half, another 5-ball strat.
Lev ran,
move in and use pulse plant util.
and Lev ran through a recent G2 timeout too without any problem. And like you said, 5 in, 2 arcade. They got their quarters ready, stacked on the machine. Who's next? They are going for tower and going through that lane play again. Ooh, little hot foot. Oh my gosh. Every single ult, as it should be, used here in the last round of the first half. Creating chaos on the site. Shorty. And oh, it's going to be a better one from VALORANT, but traded by the rest of the team.
Continues forward, though.
They are backing up to reset, figure out what they have left to throw into the site. 2 seconds for a fault line here from Jonah, so they're just timing it out, getting the signatures up. They just have to be ready for comm here. He's arcade, ready to kill anybody that comes flying through, but Demon One's gonna take that into his own hands off the bat. Trent, however, could be the savior. The Stinger, or rather the Bulldog here, doing so much work for him on this play. Who will he be able to take out next?
The mind games for these two players.
Going to half for sure. Comm just played one of these, so he's gonna be able to have that 6th sense on it. Tejo versus Tejo. Where's the diff gonna come from? Oh, he goes for the defuse. He holds it. Comm tried to show the tip of his gun on the corner, but it didn't come out. Trent is not phased. And a 7-5 for G2.
That was a fool me once there for Trent before. The last time on a 1v1, Trent got off the spike, but this time around just sticks it. And makes sure here that G2's able to take the lead in this half with a 7-5 scoreline. That was very nice for both of these teams once again, as we saw some very good VALORANT towards the tail end of that first half since those timeouts.
G2 with a lot of control here going into the map, but Lev did show us that they can come back. We're going to take a quick break and see who can finish this series out, or are we going to a map 3?
We going up, up. We going up, up. We going up, up. We going up, up. Hands up, look to the sky, 'cause we got enough to survive. Good times, man, we alive. That time I take is all mine. Top spot, taking control. Ain't no stopping me, I'm on a roll. New age prodigy, I got it all. Come for the ride, we about to let it go. We going up, up. Yeah, look at us, us. We ain't here for the rush, rush. Yeah, we going up, up. We going up, up. Yeah, look at us, us. We ain't here for the rush, rush. Yeah, we going up, up.
More VALORANT. That's what we got for you. Medio tempo, halftime. Everything's about to get back into the game now. The coaches are battling timeouts. We got a great 2 maps so far between these two teams. I should say a map and a half, as we are getting here into the second half of map 2. Fracture here picked by Leviatán, and a 7-5 start for G2. Now they get onto attack side. We were seeing Jogamo with the operator on defense, so I kind of feel like it tempered his waylay. We weren't seeing a lot of the refracts. We weren't seeing a lot of the hype plays, but now on attack, I think we'll get the spice, Vance.
Oh, for sure. I think, again, the approach you have for G2 firsthand is trying to use that waylay like the chamber, as I mentioned before. Trying to get the refract in a good spot, trying to force out a quadrant. I mean, you are playing 4 different positions around the map. So you kind of have to like lock it down at least for one instead of trying to go for as many gamble trap plays as possible around this Tejo, Breach, and Waylay. And again, Leviatán might be facing very similar issues now in the second half. G2 could explode quite well with the Whaley into the site executions and still play some very good pulse plant utility.
Oh. Heidi time. No way, he gets two. Two and all that info that there's a third there. They were playing a 3-1-1 around the map, so that could have been very dangerous, but Jonah P makes it look great. Cash in. Hello, I'm Wele. Down. You can't do too much when your crosshair is that broken. He does get himself righted, but the fight still going the way now, I'd say, of G2. Knowing they can get these two members pinned down and try to get the kill.
Yeah, but Tex did a great job delaying so much.
Player standing.
Now the other smoke comes through, but they don't really know where Demon 1 is at. Thankfully, the camera is going to seal the deal. You can pick up the spike, try to move in together here into the A site for a plant.
He's got one smoke to work. Give
30
himself an
seconds
angle
left.
that he does want. Create a little bit of cover. He knows it's not planted, so he's got a lot of time to work with here. He's got the ghost. Really help him to pin down some of these shots from the medium range. I like this. First smoke allows him to basically peek up top towards drop and get a shot on that hallway, but it's going to cut off his angle as he moves in. Oh, this is so tough.
Enemy remaining.
Oh, the patience from Demon 1. Rising again here to the occasion. Leaf now on the other side. Two players with so much confidence in this situation. Beautiful positioning here. It's going to be the Cypher, so he doesn't have too much post-plant utility even to work here. Looking all around, he's got to get the half at this point, and you got to know where Leaf is coming from. He didn't see him. Leaf does come from main, and it's Leaf again in the clutch situation, taking a quick pick of himself in the victory pose.
Very nicely done by Leaf towards the end, but I love the scaling that Demon 1 did, trying to isolate as much as he could. That smoke towards that left, you mentioned it, and only trying to clear out towards that drop. But understanding that with the smoke being 20 seconds on the Brimstone, as soon as it was about to dissipate, he goes back towards that double stack, and he actually is able to get that nice fight against Valiant with that pick.
What is he?
But then towards the end, yeah, that was the thing. What was he doing? He was trying to find Leaf in that last position, thinking that he was always on the top of heaven.
He did.
That G2 was going to play the high-low and trade in that position. But in the end, it's a pistol for the side of G2. On the attack, steam back towards that spawn, trying to play the ante on a crunch. But this time around, with nothing really coming out on the side of Leviatán, they have to spot out where the stack is going to be, which is why the drone is clear on towards the sands. And G2 will have an open sight towards it.
Quick sands rush. Smokes are down. Super easy run in. And yeah, they should be able to get this down. Just a low buy for Lev, so you're not expecting too much other than to die to the spike and look for some exits here. But yeah, we are seeing that aggression from G2. A little bit more dogma on the attack. Good stun, good classic kill. Okay, it's getting a little scrappy, getting a little muddy here over in Sands. This is interesting now. Two Bulldogs going in versus the Spectre Bulldog. So Leviatán feel like they can get back into this one. They do just have the Aftershock. That's about it from Rossi. They clear it and disperse. Valen with a great headshot placement. If he gets Rossi first, this is all but over.
Enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Find out in the open too. Hard to do.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Got to be close.
No. That was very, very close.
Thrift.
Oh, he gets it 30.32.
The wall bang from the Ghost
my
in the
gosh.
end from Tex. I was going to say, yes, he looked really good and muddy on the side of Leviatán to get those kills, but it didn't have any of these salvos or the fault line because they had to use it for the flood back into Sands. And it had to boil down to that. Tex finding the last player. And he went for the swing just before he went for the tap-in. Finds his demise instead because of that. And Leviatán's able to get a very nice drifty towards the end.
Crazy stuff. So G2 taking Lev's second rounds. Lev now taking G2's second rounds with a thrifty. This one is an unexpected back and forth from what we have seen throughout this stage. And the change from Lev, even now with King back on the Neon, on the Duelist, and switching back to that smoke for Demon 1, does not seem to be rocking the boat here from the momentum today.
I think Tex saw him, yeah, for sure. After the jump spot. That is such a tough spot to play right after. There's no util to help him out.
Nope. A big tough one there. Already the rotation coming in here. King with a nice quick outlaw, as that was a focus on the drone for Jonah P. Oh, just on the ankle. Okay, someone help this. Somebody trade King. Oh, never mind. They're staying quiet. I feel like Leaf was just sitting in the corner giving you the shh emo. He's like, I can't peek, I can't. Okay, now I can peek. It was all planned, it was all a ruse, and G2 just slaughtered the last few members there of LEV as they come through main. Some weapons all around, but still a lower buy for LEV here as we move into the next round.
Yeah. Again, you're playing 4-1 weak side on the side of Leviatán, but that said, that double kill from Leaf, because it was so labored for King to fight versus his opponent there towards the A hallway, Leaf senses that he could actually bait his teammate.
Exactly.
Nobody's going to check that corner and gets 2 free kills with the Vandal that he brings into this round. And that snuffs out the eco that was brought by Leviatán in the previous round, and that resets everything all across the board. Everything's back to normal now. G2's back in a rifle round.
Yeah.
Leviatán's on the lower buy, trying to be a little bit more proactive around these stingers and rifles. But for G2, they don't want to let go here of the gas.
I think it's one of the things we recognize about them so much, and when you're never feeling that they are going to completely lose, is that they can adapt. Whatever protocol is hitting them, it may be a few rounds, and then they're back in it, right? They're kind of mixing in the economy, and they're not letting their opponent get too far ahead of them. However, Tex, though, starts to put his name on this round with a few heads of G2.
Great punishment being done, but the ult, everybody got away from it, so still rifles available for this side of G2.
Off of Demon 1, Stimmy, but still it's going to be Jonah P with that Vandal coming through. King was just about to take his position there in the tower to give some assistance to the team. The Stingers and that Vandal to come through, but Leaf, using his gate just for the right positioning, does realize there's a flank, but doesn't look in time. It's going to be calm on the Stinger, and there's a few gun upgrades as well as ult points to get that Armageddon now online for LEV.
Yeah, that was a nice little setup, though, for Leviatán, with that wall coming up right at the default spot. That's an idea for them to see if they can flush and plant and force the player to plant in that spot. You run salvos, guarantees the kill. No matter what, though, it was a wall that was trying to get baited out by VALORANT, and he still gets punished for it. And then Tex also punishes Jongno, trying to go for the trade right after. And that really allowed here Leviatán to fight back in that round and break the econ for G2 in the next. But with that wall coming up that early, and then spotted by G2, that's definitely going to be something they're going to think about in their future rounds. They're going to try to plant towards this B site if they notice once again that Tex is set up towards B.
Holy push. Satellite's getting hit hard. They have 4 ults now. They do have the retake. Armageddon and Rolling Thunder initiate 2 from the side of LEV, so this could get very spicy. Jog into the smoke right away coming in from VALORANT, so they have a bit of priority up top, and it's his plant.
Oh no. Oh no.
King with the full spray, and he gets penalized for it. Demon 1 now answers, and they're going to have a bit of site control. Wait a minute. Wait, this is more than awkward, but the util's there. We see the aftershock placement now. We see what this strategy is all about.
Molly misses, but he can't cross out of that.
All right, 1 Rolling Thunder goes out. Remember, you still got the orbital strike. You got basically everything from G2 to just toss and juggle Leviatán in the air here. Tex is still trying to make a case for winning this round, though. Oh, man. The defuse is going to come through. A whole lot of mess on the screen, but we do get the kills for LEV to come through. Everybody was just trying to fight and jump to drop there to get whatever piece of the fight that they could.
Ruin their day.
I do not envy Sapphire, Prius, or Yeti's job in that moment. There were so many ults on both ends. There's chaos through smoke, and people are actually fighting through the smoke as well, where you're trying to stop players trying to go for the defuse towards the A site. But you saw the idea, that's what we mentioned before. You don't have a raise your composition for G2, but you can still waylay dash on the top to go for a plant. With that, you have so many ults to work with for the pulse plant, and Leviatán understood that. And they're on a different tempo versus G2. They're like, okay, well, there's so much util in the pulse plant, we have to fight right away. So great understanding and great fighting through the chaos for Leviatán that allows for them to get the round. Yeah, but all of the ults got expended on the defensive side with the exception of the Brimmy ult for Demon 1.
Yeah, and G2 are still sitting on quite a few. They might be able to string some rounds together now. Oh my gosh. Overwhelmed with options. And that's a quick death for Demon 1. There goes the orbital strike. A little bit of a stall out on the round. Rossi and Tex with big kills. A third one, possibly a fourth now for Tex, as he has been racking them up this game, but it's him and Rossi able to come through on the rounds. They build their ults back up and bring it to even now, 9-9.
2 times now that G2 is trying to work towards the B site, and they've been stuffed out by the wall from Tex. He's doing such a great job here on anchoring towards that side. Yeah, he ran into a bit of trouble towards the A side first, but his B side holds have been very good on top of the bodies around him to assist. Lev doing a good job on these fast rotates around.
Ian, you're a fucking tank.
Yeah, we viewed it the wrong word, but I think we wanted to say tank.
Tank is a terrible word. What are you talking about? That was all right. We got the vibes out of it. But yeah, you can see now, it's so different. How much are they now hyping up the team? You know, they're in these positions where they just want to keep building each other up. Their smiles there. It seems like Rossi is bringing a great vibe to that squad, because we're always going to him there.
Yeah.
It's always a comment there from the leader trying to build the other brains on the squad.
At least so far for G2 on the attack side, they've been pretty 1 year ago kind of thing when you go for these executions, right? So Leviatán have actually been rotating fairly quickly once they figure out like that util coming out from G2. They know that it's a full site hit. They'll play on pulse plant util right after, so they're just fast rotating across and getting the right bodies in the right moments to trade each other out and win these rounds. And that might be for G2 to maybe try to work the map a little bit more slowly this time around.
Right.
Maybe not this round because they're on a stinger buy for 3 players.
Yeah, the stinger buys scare me, Vans. They come out kind of strong in these rounds on G2 side.
And I'm even looking at how they're looking at the minimap. I think this is a fault line salvo right up to where Calm is going to be playing and trying to get Whaley in that position with the convergence path. There's the salvos across.
They hit.
Still space gain though for the side of G2.
Yeah. There's going to be no smoke up there, too, so they're actually seeing if anybody will return to that position right away with the slow comms going through. Now the smokes come through. Tex, however, Insight anchoring like an absolute boss here. Not a single person is going to get through so far. Demon 1 just on the right side, and this is going to be another kill here from the smoker. It just seems like Tex and Demon 1 are playing so well off each other throughout Fracture here.
Yeah, give me another hot mic after this one. Let's see what Rossi tells you this time
seriously.
We're just gonna min-max the orbs. Thought Trent would run over towards Tree and just trying to get the Armageddon as soon as possible, especially now that he's been pushed out of his position.
Oh, just eats the relay bolt. It is the 4K for Tex. If I had to guess from Rossi on the Flawless, he's giving out more kisses this time, because that was a beautiful round from Tex.
Yeah, and this time you notice that when he's not playing on the top of that site where he could have been sprayed by anything there and just die. Playing outside in the open. Very cerebral in where he's positioning around to get these picks. And now Leviatán take the lead on their map pick of Fracture. Again, haven't seen this since their kickoff game against G2 the last time, and they've already passed that line where they lost 9-13 the last time around. Now they're getting really close to push this onto Haven.
Oh, that's a step. Oh my God, King activated on that step so fast.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And
he's hungry.
He's got 2 other players to support him on top of that, so it's beautiful what they did at the beginning to stop Leaf. That could 80, yes!
Ooh.
Spots Trent.
Very heady plays from King here, looking for so much more. And it's like you don't get this on his Yoru, but you get it on his Omen and his Neon. Interesting stuff. It's just that comfortability you're seeing from these players when they get back on one of their wheelhouse agents.
The thing is, we went for a drone towards the A-halls, and Leviatán reads that, okay, well, they're not really tempoing outside of that spot. They should be coming towards Arcade. But look at G2. They reposition from Arcade at the underpass, and they have an opportunity now to even get the backstab back onto Leviatán.
Oh. He says, okay. This is weird. Oh, wait a minute.
No. It's pinged. He saw it. He saw him at least, but like, oh, that could have been an ascent moment.
Is that a mirage? What's happening right now? Was that real? All right. This is even getting more awkward for Jog, because now they know he's here and he doesn't know he was seen, so nobody's picking him.
That's why Demon 1's just positioned and looking his crosshair at that spot, but so much time's been wasted. They had to fight somewhere else.
Spike planted.
Oh my gosh. They're able to sort themselves around the fight so well. G2 gets out of position. The fact that they see Jogamo at the last second and they are just playing with their food right now. Calm with 2. The insta straight up flick to be able to get another kill onto Trent, and Lev is vibing.
That was a huge moment there where G2 could actually punish Leviatán because of where Jogamo's position was at. You saw how slow they were. You had Demon 1 just watching from the canteen back towards the spawn. The players on the A side never rotated across, just held back towards the control at the spawn as well. And it just had to come down to those 2 players fighting back towards the arcade. And somehow just those 2 players were good enough to get those 3 kills and hold a perfect post plan in the end.
And I think this reflects really well in the round we saw Jogamo kind of dimensional drift into spawn on Lotus, and Lev weren't able to adapt. They know he's there because he dimensional drift past people. And here he gets by them just regularly, and Lev, they protocol very well and adapt to the situation. So from map to map, already seeing great things here. It looks like it's going to be a pretty tough hit just to get some A main control for the side of G2.
Yeah, it's fairly quick too. Trying to get the molly in front of the spawn so that the rest of them could just activate much more quickly through the sands. Delays attempt by Tex, denied by Jonah P. And now G2 will have a site to potentially take as we get a kill through this smoke by Demon 1.
And a big kill. Tex is also gone there. They have the util to get back into sight, but they uplink, and now they're going to get some great info that 2 are flanking on that right side. Huge relay bolt to the air as we see King try to get the ground underneath the site. They're pushing in. The relay bolt does quite a bit of damage, or quite a bit of stun there. Not able to get both players though before the trade comes through. The 2v3 now as Lev tries to make the way back into the site. The first one's going to whiff there. Rossi just missing over the head of Alan. And now Demon 1 in a tough spot to collect this round. Looks like a 10th for G2.
Yeah. Definitely a good round towards the end, snuffed out by G2. That was all thanks to utility coming out from Trent as well. Armor getting to keep them at bay while they're trying to push across. And even the shots had to land on the side of G2. You saw that line up from the relay bolt. I think that was even Bob over in SAT Esports and Challengers. she even tweeted that at some point where you could actually relay bolt at the top and get it at the default spot. 2 of them were stunned. Yet, I think Lee still got that kill with the Guardian.
Oh,
yeah, exactly
so cool.
that. Beautifully done towards the end. And G2 is able to narrow that gap, narrow that lead that Leviatán has built in the second half when they had stringed 5 rounds in a row.
Not that strat.
Yeah, that strat is going in the trash.
All right, another timeout coming in for Leviatán. We'll see what else they got in the book because we flipped the page on that one. They have been good out of timeouts though, being able to kind of flip their script and do something G2 isn't expecting. And they've even taken a few of G2's timeouts and broken that stride. So we'll see. It is a vibe in here today. It is a vibe.
We get it from the players and fans for sure, and I'm vibing watching this game. It's been very exciting so far between these 2 teams. And you know what? I'll be honest, going into this game with seeing how Leviatán has started their split 1, it was potentially going to be a fast day for us. But they're definitely bringing a fight from that first map in the second one as well.
We all thought.
Very impressive what they've been cooking up here from 1 week to the next. And again, this is something that Rossi has mentioned in his interview with Baby Bay. A lot of confidence moving into this one, into the rest of the series. Confident with his calls. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's all his fault. But he's fully confident in what this team could bring. And they're definitely actually forcing here G2 to maximize the timeouts, maximize the cerebral brains of both Joel Chartier and Anders in this moment. And also, of course, the IGL being Valen, trying to tie up this game in this round as we're back from the timeout. 4 of them grouped together on the arcade.
Going out.
And here's that setup that we talked about, the weak side, leaving only Tex alone. And when he hears that info, here's the fast rotate across.
Wow. Instant space take. Everybody plays their life here. Really, like you said, only Tex in that situation. But they know there's no rolling thunder. Armageddon to be used for the side of Leviatán on the way back in. And they have to wait for this tree group to get in.
Flashlight.
1 go, 2, jog, but they trade back and forth now to 3v3 here. They still have the utility to retake the site.
Demon 1 heard the rotate from underpass, so they know there's at least 1 on the arcade.
Oh my gosh, doesn't even worry about the step, still has the head placement, on another shot towards Jenny. Valen is going on fire right now before he gets taken down. Not even half can be grabbed. It's looking like an 11th round here for G2 out of the timeout.
Double stun.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. Jonah P gets that last frag. You can always find him in tower. He's sitting in his castle, and he's going to go ahead and get that round for G2.
And that was nice by Leviatán at least to start to fight back towards that train for Leaf to at least get one with 3 players pushing through. That was a crucial kill. Leviatán knew they could only focus towards that tree because that wall was never activated on the top B site. But the fight going into the rest, all thanks to VALORANT with a beautiful 2K off that post plant from the default spot.
So that was a Waylay activation round for sure. One of the, we've seen a few. We saw the other one at A when he dashed into the smoke and they full post planted, but it's been a little tempered here. And now we're starting to get Jogamo going crazy.
Yeah, King's also going to bring out an AWP this time around. Something new that they're pulling in the second half now for Leviatán, and he's just watching towards the arcade. There's a lot of bodies here, a lot of players helping him out towards that spot. Such a huge weak side towards that front A site for a Leviatán. As it slows down, they have to start moving pieces around while they haven't been contested at all towards the arcade. People have to start moving around on the side of Leviatán to figure out where their weak side could be, trying to recover the weak side spot. You definitely see here the rotate from Rossi to jiggle in that spot.
Pinging the smokes. They actually got a smoke from Demon 1 onto A main as well. So they're considering G2 is going to be there just from the Cypher peak. They've done a great job to pull some util, pull some members. King now on the jumping relay bolt, and inside the site, a refract is going to have to save Jogamo all the way back to yesterday, and the collateral from King coming through. Oh, there's a fake. Rossi's still here. He's going to be able to get himself hidden, get the flash, get the plays, get the aftershock, and he's going to get himself a position that's not going to work for the situation. Jogamo finds the upper hand there.
The spike's still down. And here is time for G2 to potentially replay while VALORANT is still alive. Could recall the hit towards that B side. 18 seconds left. Only Tex alone on B.
Getting the super jiggle in. Tex always good for 1. Is he good for 2, or is he good to just wait for the teammates and play this one safe? Arc Rose goes off. That's going to be a blind G2. That's going to be 12 for Leviatán on Fracture.
You have to check that replay for Tex against Jogamo. I felt like I was watching Disney on Ice. As Jogamo was actually dashing through, you pop the flash on the side of Tex, and they're both just dancing around trying to avoid each other where they're both blinded. But then when that got activated, it was G2 trying to go for the split back towards that B site, and King pulls up a beautiful collateral kill, which give a chance there for Leviatán to just close out that map. Or close out the round, rather, and give themselves that map point. Man.
That scoreboard. Everybody's fragging out here. Everybody's playing. Lev said it coming into the day. It's going to take a lot of people. We're going to have to frag. We're going to have to play strong. We're going to have to play together. Here, the assistance coming in for Leviatán is good. It's going to cause the refract back from Jogamo. He takes a bit of damage, but they're going to cheat. Oh my god, they keep going in. They keep going in. The jump peaks, the fights, the util. Everything is here in the kitchen sink as G2 and Lev are not giving up this little bit of space to start the round.
In another moment of an orbital strike, splitting out the push. Rossi gets the pick off the Trent as well. Leviatán wants to close out this map. Rolling Thunder for the push.
This could be it. 4v3 here. Lev looking to bring us to Haven, looking to take down G2 on Fracture. Both teams' first appearance here in Stage 1 on the map. And Lev making it look a little different. G2 push back in here, and things quiet down.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Rossi might regret using that Rolling Thunder right away because they have nothing left to defend towards the A side. They have to peek for info, and already losing a body.
Great stall smoke. 30 seconds left on the round. They're going to have to split this one between Sands now to make sure they're not getting them flanked themselves.
30 seconds left.
Lev is here to get a bit of a crossfire.
Launching smoke.
Or up and down.
Demon 1 has Molly but doesn't want to use it. Crossfire is being set up with Calm.
There it is. There it is. The world champions crossfire the round. They take it for Leviatán, and we are, ladies and gentlemen, going to a map 3. For G2 versus Leviatán.
Leviatán gets their revenge against G2 on this map. Bull team once again coming out with a brand new composition and trying to get the best value out of the wrenches that they're throwing at each other. And it's going to be Leviatán with a very strong closing on the defensive side to push us onto Haven.